Podcast.net legacy of Kylian Mbappé. So Kylian Mbappé did announce way earlier in the season. He announced way earlier in the season he will be leaving PSG. Where he'll be leaving to, I don't know, and I'm not here to, what's the word? Try to guess or anything like Real Madrid. I think it's kind of clear. We all know where he's going. We all know where he's locked into. But he will be leaving this summer. That's his reports. I thought maybe there was a chance that he might come back, depending on what happens in the remaining fate of the Champions League. But they are now eliminated. They're now gone. So it's safe to say he will be leaving. He'll be leaving PSG. So we gotta discuss the what is his legacy. French legend Thierry Henry was on the show, and he said, "Mbappé, it's quite clear, no questions asked. Mbappé is the best PSG player ever." For me, that statement is quite and utter ridiculous. I don't even think you could say his peak was the best. I believe Neymar's peak was the greatest. Whenever he went on the run to help PSG reach the final, him and Mbappé. I don't even think you could say his peak has been the peakest, and you definitely can't say longevity-wise, because if we're talking about longevity, I think it has to be Zlatan and Cavani, who had many years of dominating League One, scoring many goals, and being the main catalyst on the PSG team and having the longevity to do it too. So I don't really see what he means when he says the best PSG player of all time. I'm just like, what? What? Is it because he's French? That's the only way I can and even then that doesn't make no sense to me. I don't get it. But he has been a brilliant player for PSG. He has been the life of that club, kind of to an extent, especially this season, since he did force Neymar out. Let's just be clear. Let's not sugarcoat it. He forced Neymar out. And he, Mbappe has always rubbed me the wrong way, just based on his arrogance, his childish behavior, some things that he says, just his actions, just the way he's so, I'm leaving PSG, I'm not leaving PSG, I'll get this player out. The way he just whines, and he does it in kind of a very passive-aggressive way. He's always rubbed me the wrong way. The way he pushed away Neymar completely rubs me the wrong way. And some of the little things he says, some of the little snarky, arrogant comments he had, like before the World Cup, talking about European countries being better than CONMEBOL countries and losing to a CONMEBOL country in the World Cup final a few months later, which is kind of beautiful revenge for the Argentinians. But there's been a lot of things that he's done and a lot of arrogance that's just rubbed me the wrong way. And I believe at this PSG tenure, that has gotten in his way, or earlier when talking with the penalty drama with Neymar and all that, and Neymar and Messi. I'm not a big fan of him on a personal level, and I think that it's affected him in his PSG career, not being able to reach over the top. Because let's face it, winning League One is absolutely nothing. Winning League One with PSG, that's just a given. That's just a given. Being at PSG, you have to win League One. You have to win the French league. Let's get that out of the way. But not being able to win the Champions League, it has to be disappointing, not just for him, but for the club in general. The players that they have had, and not being able to take advantage of Mbappé while he was here. But let's face it too, Mbappe has been wasting a lot of his prime career years being here at PSG. I mean, he's not. He needs to go somewhere where he's at the top in, week out. League One doesn't really provide him that. He doesn't really get the sort of attention that a guy like Jude Bellingham or Vinicius, or let's say Cole Palmer at Chelsea, or let's say those kind of guys that play at a top club, top Premier League club, top La Liga club. Jude Bellingham doesn't really get Jude Bellingham. Kylian Mbappé doesn't really get that attention week in, week out throughout the season. It's when the Champions League comes, or the European Championship, or the World Cup. That's when he really gets the attention that a player of his magnitude deserves. So I do think a move is the right time for him to make a move. But I don't think his legacy at PSG has been something, some great legacy that's and not the greatest of all time at all. He's had very good years. Don't get me wrong. He's had very, very good years at PSG, but the greatest, I can't go. I can't go that far. When you look at some of his performances in games, this Borussia Dortmund tie, for me, he wasn't there. He was kind of not. He didn't. I don't want to use the word disinterested, but it just seemed like the fire wasn't there to get on the ball, to make something happen, to make the runs in behind, to really threaten them. We didn't really see any of that at all. This even against Barcelona, especially in that first leg, he was not that great. He was not that great. And for me, he was outplayed by Jadon Sancho in the first leg. And in the second leg, he was outplayed by, Adeyemi. Adeyemi, who had that one run. But it's really, he's tainted a lot his legacy with all the drama that he's had. He's tainted his legacy with the going in and out. I'm going to Real Madrid, or I'm not going out. I'm demanding to leave, or I don't want to demand. Oh, the French president is coming to visit me. Okay, well, that last one is not really his fault, but the amount of rumors that's been surrounding him, the way he's forced Neymar out, he's made himself kind of an unlikable figure at PSG, which I don't want to go on and on about it, but a lot of this drama and attention has to be from himself. So as much of the positives you can talk about, the way he's dominated in Paris, and he's been a brilliant player for Paris Saint-Germain. You can't argue that. When you look at the statistics, when you look at the performance, he has been a brilliant player. But has he been, has he done that drama-free? Has he done that not being a distraction? No. At the end of the day, no. So I couldn't put him ahead of the likes of Cavani, Zlatan, Neymar. Neymar didn't have the longevity, but I think Neymar peaked higher. And Neymar was really that guy that bring the squad to a kind of bring PSG to the more of the international attention. Not that they didn't get international attention beforehand, but when you get a guy like Neymar, a guy when he's signing, when he's doing the initial walking into the stadium, signing the contracts, someone who can fill up the stadium just from his signing. When you get a player of that kind of it just kind of put PSG kind of different, like in the international world. It just made PSG a little bit up there, and not just because of that, but also because of his performances. He had some brilliant years, some underrated years at PSG, which were undermined. If you remember, he had the diving at the World Cup. He dove a few times, or he not even dove. He would get fouled. That's the thing too. He never dove. He would get fouled, but he would embellish it. He would roll around and stuff like that. And you got heavily criticized for that, and his name got, deteriorated because of that. He got called a lot of derogatory things, all that. And that kind of undermined some of the brilliance that he was providing for PSG. But he had some remarkable time for them too. So, and the fact that Mbappe forced him out, I mean, as great as Mbappe has been for PSG, he's definitely has had some downsides to it, but he has had a great career. But I think this is the right time for him to move on to, the next, venture in his career, which, like, let's just be for real, it's most likely gonna be Real Madrid.